the other way. Let's take the sphere and turn it inside out so that the space radiates out in all directions and the surface becomes condensed into a tiny central focus, like that. You see? Right in that spot is an infinite number of possibilities, as well as in the space around it. And that spot has them everywhere it goes. No matter where that spot goes, there's an infinite number of possibilities. Everything's in that, and in the space around it, infinitely. So, we have now a realm of infinite possibilities. They're infinite in one respect, too. That's quality, the type of possibilities we have. Infinite in number. Okay, now let's look at awareness. Look here, see what we have here now. We have a blank screen which indicates nothing, no existence at all. Because you've got all the possibilities there in infinity, but one thing's lacking, no perception, you see? So if you become aware of a possibility of any kind, you get slight knowledge of that possibility, and you get what's called the beginning of existence. Now, as you get you get a perception of the possibility of red, you see, at first it's hazy and not very certain knowledge. Then later on it gets more, your awareness becomes more intense so that you get more knowledge. And what's happening? As you see the brighter red, you become more intensely aware of that possibility. Therefore your knowledge becomes more certain. You see? And that's the definition of certainty of knowledge, is the intensity of your awareness of those possibilities. So whereas you've got an infinite quality of possibilities, you have an infinite quantity of awareness or perception to attach to them. You see? And that gives you this tremendous interplay and dynamism that we call life, you see. So existence and life really are the same thing. Existence may be static. Life may have dynamism. And we'll get into that in a little while when we talk about time. Okay, now, once again, we're going to go to a blank screen. Out, you see? And what we're going to exemplify with this again is no knowledge. See? Now again, in this one, instead of red, we're going to show slowly increasing intensity of awareness in which you're going to get knowledge. And this time, it's knowledge of things, not just a color. And this is the way we learn, and we research, and we experiment, and this is the dynamism of growth, you see. And that's the way it can be explained, although we don't really understand what's going on, because we don't know what awareness is, where it comes from, and we don't know what possibilities are and where they came from. You see, these are the two great unknowns. And these are the only two assumptions we need make to help us understand or comprehend or get an inkling of what all this is about. One other thing now. If you have no possibility of, if you have no awareness of any possibility, then you have what we call death in the most absolute sense. You see? And that is, you can have all the awareness in the world and no possibility. One might say, well, if you got awareness, it's, you know, you have the opportunity to interface with a possibility. We might call that dreamless sleep. But if you have no awareness and you got all kinds of possibilities, that is death. And if you have no awareness or possibilities, that's death. And in the most absolute sense, beyond any kind of philosophic concept or any kind of religious dogma. Anything else would be contrary to human reason, no matter how terrifying it is. Well, using plain common sense and extracting things from our everyday experience, we've come up with the basic tools we need. So the time has come for us to enter the realm of pure human reason. But remember, you've got to leave all your prejudices, all your biases, and all your discrimination here. Because out there, we're going to be nothing but pure thinking minds. Well, here we are. And you'll notice the first feeling you get in this is a tremendous expanse of space, almost unlimited. And that's only proper because what we're dealing with is infinity in probably the most literal and emphatic sense. Now, you'll see this later on. But first, before we proceed, we've got to make our minds up that we're going to get rid of all dogma, all discrimination, all bias, all prejudiced ways of thinking that characterize our down-to-earth everyday world. So before we start, let's do that. Speaking of space, exactly what is it? Now here we have a red cube and a blue cube. The red cube is the possibilities of cube, a certain size, a form of a cube, a certain size, and a color red. The blue cube is the same except it's color blue. Now, they can never be in the same space, because if they were, they would be a different color, mixture of red and blue. So, by definition, therefore, space is defined as the quality, the type of possibilities perceived. They're the same shape and same size, one red, one blue. Those two different possibilities make different spaces of those cubes. Now I want you all, if you can, to get up out of your chair and come toward your set. That's it. Just come toward your set. Right smack in front of the screen. Stop about 4 feet away. Okay, now sort of bend down and look at the right middle margin of your screen. What do you see? You see an X, a black X, right? Nothing else. You see nothing else. Okay, now cover your right eye and stare right at that X. What do you see? Same thing, right? No change at all. Is that right? Oh, is it right? Glance over to the left margin with your left eye. Keep your right eye covered. Now what do you see? Ah, you see more possibilities that weren't there, right? A circle, a black dot. Well, now look back over at the X. Keep your right eye covered. What do you see? Doesn't it look like before? You know the dot is there, but it's not there. But it will be there, or it was there, and is there, all at the same time. So isn't this a remarkable thing? The dot is there, it was there, and it very soon will be there, all at the same time, because you know it was there all the time, but it wasn't there. Why? Simply because the intensity of your awareness was not maximal, which is the definition of present time. Past and future are conditioned by intensity of awareness of possibilities that is less than maximal. Some very distant, that you can barely remember them, or so far in the future you can barely conceive them. These are remote intensity awareness. But when it's maximal, it's your present time. But all these tenses are with you at the same time, you see? Time isn't something that begins in a distant past, progressing at a constant velocity toward an unimaginable distant future. It's not that objective. It's subjective, and it's different for each of us. We've been discussing pure reason, and of course we all assume that that resides in the mind. What is the mind exactly? Well, first of all, it's impossible to define right now. Scientists can't agree. We don't even know where it exists. We don't know how it functions, and we really don't know what thought is. We can't even define that well. But let's look at what it could be. For example, look at your screen, and what do you see? You see certain possibilities that don't change, mainly just black lines in certain configurations. Now, some of you will say that's a picture, a drawing of a young, attractive young lady looking back to the right. But if you look closer, some of you will see something else in that same thing. You will see an old hag looking at you to your right. Notice that the chin of the young lady is the big nose of the old hag. It's an old trick they use in psychology books. What's happened here? Possibilities never changed. Yet some of you, with your minds, interpreted this to be a young lady. The others interpreted it to be an old hag. And your own mind will switch from one to the other rapidly. Difficult to take both in at the same time. So we have good definitions now of mind. That is, mind is the categorization of the type or quality of the possibilities perceived. Some of you categorize the same possibilities as young woman, others as old hag. And language is simply the naming of those categories. Young woman or old hag. So using our same assumptions, we come up with workable definitions of mind and language.